All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to this week's mobile coaching session. My name is Patrick France. Whoops, sorry. Don't know why it's not displaying. It was a second ago. Let's check that. All right, there we go. Welcome everybody. Welcome to this week's weekly mobile coaching session. My name is Patrick France. I'm a senior instructor here at VectorVest. I'm glad to be with you guys. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, everybody. If you guys can hear me out there, type in VV Nation into the chat. Also, Jay, to answer or to reply back to you, I agree. I would love to see that. Probably would only be in the desktop, or for people who have the desktop, and then also more specifically have the Derby. But yeah, I would love to see that as well. Get the DTI indicator in there. All right, so welcome everybody once again. If you guys can hear me out there, make sure, as always, let me know. Type in VV Nation into the chat. Let me see you guys out there. And also, if you're brand new here, welcome. If you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and let's jump right into it here today. So as always, what we're going to do is we're going to start off taking a look at what's going on in the market. Then we'll dive into our topic of discussion. And then as always, we'll finish the fan favorites towards the very end, where we'll analyze any stock that you want to take a look at in less than 10 seconds. So if you guys are looking to see your stocks analyzed, make sure to stick around towards the very end and we'll make sure we get those analyzed for you. There we go. VV Nation in the chat. Love seeing that. All right. So welcome once again. We should be live both on Facebook and over on our YouTube page now. So everything should be good. Let's go ahead, jump right into it here today. So right now, the market is 2 ticks into the red. Therefore, the color guard is somewhat bearish and VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks at this time. As we know, Facebook reported earnings yesterday, came out with a little bit better of a beat than what they were expecting. So that was nice to see. But overall, we did see, the markets rally sharply off of that, but they don't seem to be holding right now, as we can see right now with 2 ticks into the red. So very interesting to see how that's already starting to fade after some good potential earnings performances here. Was less bad. Exactly. So we talked about it yesterday. For anybody who's tuning in yesterday, we did a live stream with Glenn and I. Whoops. There we go. And one of the things we were talking about is the growth factor of it and how that's impacting stocks. And what we're seeing right now is that, yes, there we go. Already having a new subscriber. Welcome to the VV Nation there, Freedom. But what we've noticed here is, yes, these are growth stocks, but the growth is starting to slow down. Their forecasted growth rate is starting to slow. Even though earnings are still good, the companies are still making insane amounts of money. They are slowing down. As if you're looking for growth stocks, you don't want the growth to be slowing as you're getting into them. So I definitely see, and we're noticing a little bit more hesitation currently in the market right now, and that's being reflected here in the color guard. But as we scroll down, as always, the color guard that we just looked at gets its colors from the top row of lights in the color guard here at the bottom. And these three components are used to analyze the overall market. So the first one we're looking at is the price, which is the price of the VectorVest composite. Now, the price of the VectorVest composite is an arithmetic indexed average of about 9,100 stocks that we track in the U.S. market each and every day. And we track it for three main components here. So the first one we're looking at is the price, which is, once again, looking at an arithmetic indexed average of about 9,100 stocks. And this gives us a better representation on what's actually going on. Because not just looking at the Dow's 30 or the Nasdaq's 100 or the S&P's 500, but it's looking at 9,100 stocks. Second one is the RT or relative timing, which is looking at the short-term price trend in the market. Since it's cast on a scale of 0 to 2, above 1 would show the short-term trend is up. Below 1 would indicate that the short-term trend is down. Hey there, Corey. Hopefully you're doing well this morning. And so as we can see at 0.78, that tells us the short-term trend in the market is currently down here. And then our third indicator is the BSR or buy to sell ratio. Now, the buy to sell ratio is looking at the overall health of the market. And every single day, VectorVest gives a buy, hold, and sell rating on every single stock. So if there's more buys than sells, the buy to sell ratio will be above 1. If there's more sells than buys, the buy to sell ratio is going to be below 1 as it is now, which indicates overall market weakness. Hey there, Marie. Hopefully you're doing well this morning. And so these three components are comprised or summarize and come up with the MTI or the market timing indicator. It's looking at the underlying trend of the market, once again, cast on a scale of 0 to 2. Below 1 indicates that the underlying trend of the market is down. Would I trade options with the platform? I do trade options, Atif. So yes. And as we can see at 0.51, that definitely tells us the underlying trend of the market is down. And we always want to mention these levels whenever we're looking at it. So anything below 0.6 indicates that the market is oversold. So we are in oversold conditions. The market's still going down right now, but it's something to keep an eye on and get our shopping list ready. Start preparing for a rebound to take advantage of in the market. After the MTI, we then get the trend column, which shows two parts of trend each and every day. The first part is looking at what we like to call the primary wave, which is simply the short-term or weekly trend of the market. So as we can see, it is down since the price of VectorVest composite is lower than it was 5 trading days earlier. The second part is looking at the underlying trend or the MTI, and since the MTI is below 1, the underlying trend of the market is also down. After the trend, we then get the calls column, which stands for our confirmed calls. And our confirmed calls are our most conservative timing system here. They're our last signal we get to get into the market and our last signal we get to get out. And as you can see, we still remain in that confirmed down situation as of today. So as always, we do want to scroll down, take a look at the advanced declines. And right now we're sitting at about 31% of stocks moving higher and 57% of stocks moving lower. Close to getting that 2-to-1 bias to the downside that we prefer to see when we're entering into a position. So if the decliners continue to pick up their pace and the advances continue to slow down a little bit, we could easily see twice as many decliners and advances. And if we're looking for a short position or looking to play the market to the downside, we could definitely do so. Also, Roger coming in as a new subscriber. Welcome to the VV Nation, Roger. Also, hey there, Mark. Hey, not a problem. Glad to have you here today. And anybody who has questions about individual stocks, make sure to stick around towards the end. That's when I'll analyze any stock that you guys want to take a look at. So Looking at the major indices right now, the Dow is down about 0.1%. NASDAQ's up a little less than 0.1%. S&P 500's up just shy of 0.2%. VectorVest Composite, however, down about 0.5%. This is why it pays to look at the VectorVest Composite over the Dow, the NASDAQ, or the S&P, because it gives you a lot better picture of what's actually occurring in the market. And so that's going to show, what's going on currently. What we're going to talk about here today, though, is practicing or trading a plan and also testing a plan. The reason why it's important is because before you just go out there and just start buying random stocks that you see and saying, oh, I like this stock, that looks good, let's go ahead and buy it. Oh, that looks good, I'm going to go ahead and buy that. You jump in and then all of a sudden you have no plan in place to know when you're going to be getting out, what your goals are with that trade. And you're basically just all over the map. And then by that point, one position starts going down, you overlook it, and then all of a sudden another position goes down. And then all of a sudden you're in this huge mess that you feel like you can't control. And so everything that we try to do here at VectorVest is to help you become more systematic in your approach rather than that emotional trader that just goes everywhere and just, buys the first thing they see. The reason why is because over the last 35 plus years that VectorVest has been around, we have found consistent evidence to show that the more systematic and methodical your approach is, the better your results are over time. And so if we can test an idea, gain some confidence in it, that will help us remove that emotional aspect of our investing and stick to a more systematic approach. Therefore, increasing your performance and helping you guys all become better traders. That's why paper trading a plan or paper trading an idea is crucial to developing a successful trading plan for yourselves. And what better way to test an idea than to paper trade it utilizing the portfolios? So if you guys never use the portfolios are 100% paper trading, so there's no cash actually being put in there. And this is a great way to either track the performance of your current portfolio, so that way keep everything all in one spot, or test a new idea if you're looking to, develop your own trading system, looking to change up what you're doing. Maybe you're not quite happy with the results that you're looking for or results that you're getting so far, and you want to improve on that. Well, paper trading using the portfolios is one of the easiest ways to do so. Facebook guidance leaked out on Bloomberg Wire before earnings. I've heard the rumor there, Marie, but I haven't. I can't confirm or deny it. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to go out and see that or improve that without with the internet nowadays. You can just delete stuff. So I've heard that the Facebook guidance was leaked, but I haven't seen. I've also heard that the Facebook guidance, or there was news coming out saying that it was going to be bearish, and then all of a sudden we had a different move from what we saw. So I don't know. I've heard a few different things about the earnings announcement with Facebook yesterday. There was a leak on Bloomberg and then it was retracted. Well, there you go. All right, so let's go ahead, jump into the portfolios here. I'm going to go ahead, create a new portfolio. We'll just call this paper trading. There we go. And as always, you can set it up with your initial investment. I'm going to keep it with 100,000 for now, but if you're dealing with a smaller amount, obviously you can change that. Or, if you're wanting to test, let's say you're going to allocate a portion of your portfolio to this new trading system that you're developing, and you're only wanting to use a small portion of it, let's say 20,000 to get started. Well, you could obviously change that there, so that way you can have it reflect exactly what type of situation you're going to be going into with this portfolio. So we're going to call it paper trading. Click on create portfolio, and you can see it immediately tells you to add the position by clicking on the three dots in the upper right hand corner. So if we go ahead, tap on that, we can go ahead and add the positions. And this is where you can start to enter in your positions. So I see a few stocks coming in. NVIDIA has a sell rating on it. So let's go ahead and use some of those. So we'll put NVIDIA here as our first one, NVDA. So NVDA, once it at the top, it tells you basically just a general order ticket. You can buy or sell short. It gives you the current price per share. You can even use the calculator to figure out the quantity, or to, let's say we have 100,000, we want to put 10,000 in it. So if you're going to hold 10 positions, that evenly dollar weights your position there. So let's just say 10,000. Go ahead and calculate shares. Boom. That way you don't have to worry about, oh, how many shares am I going to be getting to make as close as I can to even dollar weighting that position. So there you go, automatically done for you. You can go ahead, add position. Puts it right in there for you. I see Marie coming in with RFP. Let's go ahead, add another position. RFP. You're going to buy it. Price per share. Let's say you actually got into this. If you're trading your portfolio or you're mimicking your actual portfolio, you can change the cost per share. Let's just go ahead and say, actually, what was it? 1376. Let's say we got in at 1350. There we go. And then we can use the calculator for 10,000. 740 shares. $9,990 on the T. So let's go add the position there. And then boom, now we've got that position in. I see Lucid coming in as a suggestion. Let's go ahead, add that position in. LCID. There we go. And also the show additional details. Let's say, today wasn't the day you got in. Let's say you got in a couple of days ago. So let's change the transaction date. And go April, let's say 26th. And then the price you got was, let's say 16. There we go. And then you figure out how many shares to make the 10,000. There you go, 625. Change that transaction date once again. Oh, there we go. Make sure that's correct. And then you can add a position there. So now, all of a sudden, you have your portfolio being built based upon the plan that you have set in place. Whether it be some rules-driven plan, whether it be from, a basket of stocks, a watch list that you have created that you've been keeping an eye on, and you've been waiting for the right indicator to tell you when to get in. Whatever it may be, this is a great way to track it. So that way you can see in real time, not just, historical performance, but also in real time, how this plan would be trading, how successful it would be, what are some of the pitfalls that you have in it, so that way you can make any minor adjustments to make it easier on yourself to trade it. So also using the portfolios, it tells you your ROI, your total value now at this point, your position, whether it's long or short, your average price, all that basic information you're going to get with your typical broker. But you also get the added benefit here inside of VectorVest by utilizing the rank by features. So if we go to the sort by at the top, you can not only get the basic things such as gain, ROI, gain for the day, gain percentage for the day, total value, that sort of thing, but you also get the added benefit of the VectorVest indicators. So let's say if you're, this is a long portfolio, whoops, wrong one. If this is a long portfolio, you want to look for stocks with high momentum. Obviously, NVIDIA, Lucid right now don't have that RT above 1, but as we've talked about in the past, when managing your own portfolio, utilizing the RT is a great way to know if you're not already out, when to start cutting your position or when to start taking your profits off the table. When RT crosses below 1, that indicates that the stock is now in a downtrend and therefore not making you money. And as we always talk about, it doesn't make sense to hold on to something that's losing you money. So this could be a good way to manage it. Let's say you're using that RT below 1 as your rule of knowing when to cut your position, take your profit or minimize your loss, and then move on. So this helps you do it all in one spot. Real simple, real easy to manage here. You also get the added benefit of some of the other ones. Percent gain loss for the day, the biggest movers here. You get dividend information, VST, RV, RS. So all of that can help you check your portfolio, check your stocks all in one spot to make it easy for yourself. And as always, if you're not familiar with some of these indicators, if you are brand new here to the Stock Advisory app, the glossary button in the upper right-hand corner will give you a detailed description of every single indicator, the definition of it, all of that, So that way you can make sure that you're utilizing the right indicators here to fit whatever you're looking for. So this is one of the key benefits to using a portfolio over a watch list, is that it actually gives you your position information, not only the stock information. So if you're trading or if you have a portfolio of stocks, this is a great way to track them, get your analysis done quickly and easily, such as the RV, VST, RS, all of that. But then also see your also see the overall performance of your portfolio all in one simple spot here. Mark, I'm not going to read that out loud, but I think Glenn would definitely agree with you on that one. All right, so today's lesson is going to be pretty simple. If you want to talk about developing a trading plan, we've done plenty of sessions on that. Maybe we could do one again soon in the future if you guys want. But developing a plan. Let's say, let's go to stock pick ideas. Let's say you're a short-term momentum trader. Well, high momentum stocks. Let's say you're looking at those. Sort by RT, since RT is something that we looked at previously. CEIX. Right now, down a little bit. Let's go down to the first one we have in the green, STNG. TMP, though, is up a little bit more. Let's go with that one. So this one is a speculative play. We analyze the stock here. We see, hey, it has has poor potential. It has a lot of risk involved. But man, this thing is moving right now. With an RT of 1.87, that tells us it's in a really strong uptrend. Overall, the stock is favorable. Let's assume the market was moving higher. We were continuing to see what we were seeing in pre-market this morning. And that was continuing rather than fading right now. So therefore, okay, I want to add this to my portfolio. This is, these are the stocks I'm looking for. I like this one. It's a high momentum play right now. So we just tap on the 3 dots in the upper right, go to add to portfolio, select the portfolio, so paper trading, buy, spend 10,000, add to portfolio. It'll ask you if you want to go to it or not. We're going to say yes for now. Obviously, you don't have to, but as you can see, instantly put it into our portfolio, evenly dollar weighted it to bring it as close as it possibly could to that 15,000 range or that 10,000 range we were trying to keep per position. And now we can analyze our portfolio and track it on a daily basis. You can also view your equity curve at the very top. So right now it's on an end of day basis. We can go intraday, see how it's performing today alone. So you can get some ideas and some overall general guidance here on what's going on in your portfolio, what needs to change, what doesn't need to change. If you're testing your ideas, this is a great way to build confidence in it. That's really the main thing is, if you're testing before you put your hard-earned cash, you're going to have a lot more confidence in it. And therefore, you're going to trust the system more. So you're less likely to try to second guess the trading plan that you've already developed. You spend a lot of time developing a plan. And if you're brand new to it, you didn't really trade it beforehand, you just start going off it based off the previous results that you saw. Well, you may have some doubt, or if that first loss that you come across, because not every stock is going to win. You are going to have some losers from time to time. And so therefore, if you start seeing one stock going down, you may say, oh, this isn't working right now. And then all of a sudden you close it. Next thing you know, the stock goes back up. You missed an opportunity to, really capture a good run. And next thing at that point, then all of a sudden you're starting to get all jumbled up in your portfolio. Don't remember, where this rule should be in place, where you should start buying again, when you should start replacing. And then everything just becomes a mess. Your portfolio starts unraveling. So build that, instead of doing all that, build up the confidence, work with your portfolio, paper trade it a little bit, build the confidence in that system. Once you have that confidence, then start putting your hard-earned cash behind it. So that way you're focused on a systematic plan that can thrive in the current market environments. And then, that's the great thing about these. If you're paper trading it and all of a sudden you notice the conditions of the market starting to change, like, for example, the beginning of 2022, all of a sudden the conditions of the market have now changed drastically, where we're seeing inflation skyrocketing here. You have the Fed raising rates a lot faster than what anybody expected here at the beginning of the year. And so that's definitely changed the overall climate of the market. And if that kind of situation happens, then you need to make sure your plan is adjusted appropriately. And paper trading a few different ideas, because you can have multiple portfolios. As you can see, I have 1, 2, 3. So I have 6 portfolios here right now. You can have multiple different portfolios to, let's say, track and see the performance of few small changes that you've made. So that way you can slowly adjust yourself or slowly adjust your plan to the new conditions and figure out which adjustment works the best for the current conditions. I've been cheating myself on the app while position sizing. Hey, glad you learned something new, Maria. That's the main thing, is we're trying to help you guys out, make it as easy as possible. Make sure you guys are improving and enhancing your own trading knowledge to become the best potential investors you can be. So that's really as long as you're learning something new, that's a win here. All right, so that's gonna really be it for today on this one. If you guys have stocks you want to take a look at, which it seems like a lot of people do, go ahead and start throwing those out there. We'll start analyzing those. Also, if you have questions about building a portfolio, feel free to ask them now. If you're watching this on the replay after we're live, you can always give our supporter call and they'd be glad to walk you through paper trading a portfolio, helping you get things set up to make sure it's as easy as possible for yourselves. So I already see a few. So what we're going to do, tap on the little magnifying glass in the upper right, starting off with RFP. So RFP, you have great long-term potential. You do have a lot of risk though. Right now, it is in a steady uptrend. Overall, the stock is definitely favorable. Hey there, Chris. Hopefully you're doing well. Also, if you guys have been enjoying yourselves, if you're still here, we have over 100 people here tuning in just on our YouTube side alone. Only 22 likes. If you haven't already, smash that like button. Help us out with the YouTube algorithms. Help support the channel. Continue to keep these sessions going. So if you guys want to see more of these sessions, if you guys are enjoying yourselves, if you guys have learned something new, make sure, as always, smash that like button for me. Do it now. All right, so RFP, overall stock is favorable. Let's see. Lucid, we'll go ahead and take a look at that one. So Lucid, this one is a speculative play. You have poor long-term potential. You do have a lot of risk associated with it. You are in a steady decline. So overall, stock is definitely not favorable here. ET, good long-term potential, but does have some risk to get to that potential. It is in a pretty decent uptrend on a short-term basis. So overall, the stock is still favorable right now. See what else we have. HUT, HUT. Oh. All right, HUT, good long-term potential, but a lot of risk to get to that potential. You are in a steady free fall to the downside. Overall, the stock is not favorable here. TDOC. So TDOC, I believe, just missed some earnings, if I remember correctly. This one has some good long-term potential, but does have a lot of risk associated with it. You're basically free falling. The stock is down 50% almost here today. Overall, the stock is definitely not favorable here. IRM, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk. You do have a steady short-term uptrend, so overall stock is favorable. If you're more of a speculative trader, this could be an interesting one. NIO, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. You are in a steady decline, so overall stock is not favorable here. Apps, APPS. Apps has great long-term potential. You have less risk associated with it. You are in a steady decline currently though, so overall stock, it's a good stock, just not the right time to be long in it. Let's see. NRGU. So this one's going to be an ETF. Therefore, our primary focus with an ETF is always going to be the RT, because it's going to be, it doesn't report quarterly earnings like a company does or a stock does. So therefore, the RV and RS, the more fundamental indicators, are always going to be pegged at 1. So with RT at 1.29, it does show it's in a pretty strong or steady uptrend on a short-term basis. Therefore, the ETF is favorable. ERX, let's go see. ERX, another ETF looking at RT at 1.19, steady uptrend, overall favorable still. Let's see, AOSL. AOSL, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. However, not the right time to be long in it. It is in a steady decline. Overall, stock is a good stock, just not the right time to be holding it. I know I missed one earlier. Let's see. UNH. So with UNH, you have good long-term potential. You have less risk associated with it. You are in a steady uptrend. So overall, stock is favorable. ANTM. ANTM, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it, steady, strong uptrend. Overall, stock is definitely favorable. HD, good long-term potential, less risk. However, this one is in a decline currently, so right now is not the time to be holding it. Overall, it's a good stock, just not the right timing on it. Let's see, what else we have? TMST. Timken Steel, good long-term potential, but more risk associated with it than the average stock out there. You are in a strong short-term uptrend. Overall, stock is favorable. Let's see, what else we got today? FB, sure, we'll look at FB. So Facebook, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it, but even with that 13% update here today, the RT still remains below 1, telling us that right now is not the right time to be long in it, even with this big update here, because as we know, it did hit. Let's go see if we can see the after hours or pre-market. I may have to turn that on in the settings actually. Let's go settings. Let's see, general settings, use extended hours. Go back here, Facebook, tap on the graph. Hit a high of 210 pre-market. Now it's trading at 198. So while yes, it is up 13% here today, it was up a lot more earlier on. So I'd be extremely cautious when you see that here. Let's see what else we got. PayPal, PYPL. So PayPal, good long-term potential, about average risk associated with it. You are in a steady decline. Overall, stock is not favorable. SJT, good long-term potential, but does have a little bit more risk associated with it. Even though it's down a little over 6% here today, over 6.5%, still on a short-term basis, you are up on a strong uptrend right now with the RT at 1.77. Overall, stock is still favorable here. Coin, we'll take a look. Coin, good long-term potential, but a lot of risk to get to that long-term potential. You are in a really strong decline. Overall, stock is not favorable. DDS. Dillard's, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. You're in a really strong short-term uptrend. So overall, stock is definitely favorable. I like that one. LPLA, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it, so more of a prudent stock. Even with the pullback here, you still are in a short-term uptrend. Overall, the stock is favorable still. RKLY, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. Steady free fall to the downside, not favorable. OUSM. So this one looks like an ETF. Therefore, the primary focus is RT at 0.99. It is below the level of 1, telling us it is in a slight decline. Overall, not favorably here. UNG. Looks like missed UNG. So UNG, another ETF, 1.77 on the RT. Therefore, really strong short-term uptrend. So overall, stock is still, your ETF is definitely favorable here. ENPH, doesn't Enphase have earnings coming up soon? If I'm not mistaken, it has it this week. Or it had it this week. Maybe it's already reported. But I know Enphase is coming up anytime now. Enphase, good long-term potential, a little bit more risk associated with it. However, you are in a steady decline on a short-term basis. Overall, stock is not favorable again. We had a little bit of a run, but it doesn't look like it's sticking around too long. Twitter, TWTR. So at Twitter, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. You are in a really strong short-term uptrend, all news-driven. Overall, the stock is average. At 48, if Elon buys it, it gives you what? A $6 jump based off of the 48.20 or 54.20 level. Not a bad day's work for minimal effort and minimal risk there. So could be an interesting one. AMD, let's see. AMD, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it, strong decline, however. So it's a good fundamentally sound stock, just not the right time to be long in it. EGY. EGY, good long-term potential, about average risk associated with it. You are in a short-term uptrend, so overall, stock is still favorable here. Let's see, GFI. GFI, good long-term potential, but a lot of risk associated with it. You are basically flat on a sideways move. Overall, stock's a little bit better than average, but not by much. Where a couple of days ago, very good report. That's what I was thinking. I knew they had I knew they had earnings sometime this week, Joe. So I wasn't sure if it was today or if it was a few days ago. But I knew they were reporting this week. TWLO, let's go see. So TWLO, good long-term potential, but does have a lot of risk associated with it. You're basically in a steady decline or a steady free fall. Overall, stock is not favorable right now. FSLY, let's take a look. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk, steady decline, not favorable. Whenever you see the left-hand 45-degree angle on all four indicators, that tells you pretty quickly you need to move on. ZIM. ZIM, good long-term potential, but does have more risk associated with it. You are in a slight uptrend on a short-term basis. Overall, the stock is still favorable, but this stock seemed to have that big run-up that everybody got really excited about, just simply for the fact that the dividend, that hype seems to be over, and it seems like stock's coming back down to its typical trading range there. We looked at LPLA, MRO. Let's go take a look. MRO, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it, still in a strong short-term uptrend. Overall, stock is still favorable. Easy Rider strategy. Gold, I'm trying to remember Easy Rider strategy. I don't remember the rules to the Easy Rider strategy off the top of my head. Are you talking about like the Midnight Cowboy where we're looking at Derby winners? I know the name, but I'm not familiar with the rules. It's been probably a couple of years since I've looked at the Easy Rider strategy or we've done anything on Easy Rider strategy. All right, looking at Extro. So Extro, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk, no surprise there. Company doesn't make money. Company doesn't make money. Company keeps kicking the can down the road of when they're going to start making money. Until they actually start to make money, I'd stay away from it. Everything else is telling you to stay away from it as well. Easy Rider. So yeah, I call the Midnight Cowboy approach, which is basically looking at the 1 and 5 day Derby winners. And so if you're looking for stocks to replace, it's a great way to find what search you need to be using. What search is working right now? Let's go ahead and do that real quick. We'll talk about that. So we'll go to the VectorVest views, go to last night's views, take a look. Scroll down to the 1 and 5 day Derby winners. So right now, the 1 day Derby winners were all bullish. The 5 day Derby winners were all bearish. So when you see that, you know that you have no matches in the 1 and 5 day. Therefore, if you needed to replace a stock in your portfolio, you're not going to be replacing. You're simply going to be holding off and waiting for another day. Let's go back a day. Let's go Tuesday. Tuesday, we had all bearish on both the 1 and 5 day Derby winners. So when we look through it, let's see what we have. Worst performing contra ETFs, buying contra ETFs, no matches in the 1 and 5 day Derby winners. As long as I'm making sure, no matches there. So therefore, you're not going to be replacing, if you needed to replace something, you're not going to be replacing anything there. Bullish on the top, bearish on the bottom, no replacements there. And basically, it's whenever you need to replace your position or replace a stock in your portfolio, check the views on a nightly basis. And once you find a match in both the 1 and 5 day Derby winners, that tells you what search inside the Unisearch tool you need to use. And so therefore, you go to that search, run that search, and cherry pick out of the top 10 to find, one of those candidates that looks the best to you. All right, so hopefully that describes it as simple as possible there for you. Let's see, we got a couple more. We'll do a few more here today. BERY, Berry Plastic, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. Timing though, timing is an issue. Timing is basically telling us that we're moving sideways. Therefore, be cautious with this one. Overall, it's a good stock. It has good fundamentals, but we need to see the timing pick back up. XVV. Not seeing that here. I know you're probably looking for some type of volatility index ETF. So are you talking about VXX, I believe? Isn't it? Or what is it? What's the ETF X? Trying to remember. Trying to remember which one it is. UVXY, I know that one. Or UVV maybe. Maybe you're looking for UVV there, Wendell. Let me know. VXX. That's what I was thinking, VXX, but it's not VXX. Ah, there we go. Just took a second to load. All right, so I'm pretty sure you're referring to the VXX, not VXVV. If that's the case, looking at it, RT at 1.6 tells us it's in a really strong short-term uptrend. So overall, this is definitely favorable here. I knew the UVXY. I was just trying to decipher what they were asking for. So hopefully that's what you're looking for there, Wendell. All right, let's see. MAC. About average long-term potential, but you do have a lot of risk associated with it. You're in a steady decline right now. Overall, the stock is not favorable. All right, we'll do two more here. Let's do PLTR. PLTR, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. You're in a steady decline. Overall, the stock is not favorable. And last but not least, Microsoft, MSFT. So Microsoft, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. But even with great earnings, the stock short-term price trend hasn't changed. It's still at 0.86, telling us it's in a decline. So therefore, yes, it's a good stock, just not the right time to be long in it. All right, so on that note, it's been my pleasure being with you guys. Let's go ahead and jump into the overview page. Before we go through what's happening right now, I do want to also remind you guys. So every Wednesday, Glenn and I have our afternoon market action. And over on our YouTube page, so if you guys are over on the Facebook page, head over to the VectorVest YouTube channel. In the community, we're going to be making a post asking for stocks that you guys want to see. And we're going to be spending some of our time next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, not just talking about the stocks that we looked at or that we've been picking out, but we want to analyze your stocks inside the VectorVest 7, and Glenn and I are going to go back and forth on them. So if you guys have stocks that you want to see analyzed with the VectorVest 7 and get both Glenn and I's perspective on it, head over to our YouTube page. I think it should be in the community section there. There should be a post about it. But we want to hear your guys' feedback of what stocks you guys want to see. And we're going to get a list together beforehand so that way we can have it all set up ready to go for you guys. So if you want to participate in that, make sure to check that out. It's going to be a fun time. So really looking forward to that one as well. Also, speaking of Glenn, he does have his Trending Thursdays at 2 p.m. today. So coming up in a little bit, if you guys are available, make sure to come over, support him as well. Try to get him to sing if you can, because he's always a good entertainer there, and also really knows his stuff. So if you want to see what's making the headlines here today, what's impacting the market, but also get some useful, insightful information that you can use to benefit your own investing, make sure to come hang out with Glenn at 2 p.m. for Trending Thursdays today as well. All right, so leaving off here today, right now we are still 2 ticks into the red. The color guard is still somewhat bearish, and VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks at this time. If we scroll down, we still have that red light coming from the price and the RT. Nothing's really changed there. Looking at the advance and declines though, we are starting to see a little bit of a change here with this. The advance is now sitting at about 39%, so it's gained about 9% gain since we started this session here today. The decliners now sitting below 50%, roughly 49.7. We'll call it 50%, just make it even. So we are seeing the decliners. We're close to a 2-to-1 with almost a 30% advance to almost a 60% decline. Now starting to see that gap being filled, and now the advances are only about 10% away from taking over the decliners. So, talk about volatility, folks. That's the word of the day for this market. Volatility. As we scroll down, take a look at the major indices. Some crazy stuff is going on with those. Up and down, looking like an EKG chart. Dow was up about 0.5%. NASDAQ coming back now, up just shy of 1%. S&P 500 now up 0.9%. VectorVest Composite was down about 0.5%. Now basically flat, break even for this session so far. So once again, thank you all for coming and hanging out with me. If you guys enjoyed yourselves here today, as always, smash that like button. That helps us out with the YouTube algorithms and continues to show support for our channel and continues to help us grow this channel and grow this awesome community that we built here over the years. So if you haven't already, hit that like button. Tell all your friends to come hit that like button as well. So that way we can keep on doing these great free coaching sessions for you guys. All right, so thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. Be safe out there. Have a great weekend, and toodles.